The CBS 42 Washington Bureau, President Donald Trump announced the U.S. will send more weapons to Ukraine. He plans to meet with the head of NATO today to coordinate support. Washington correspondent Vinay Simlad joins us live to explain the weapons sales. Good morning, Vinay.
Kristen, good morning to you. The U.S. President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. will start selling weapons to European countries who will then send them to Ukraine. And these are meant to take over once U.S. support for Ukraine runs out, or the bill that the U.S. passed to support Ukraine runs out. Now, President Trump says it's good for the U.S. economy, bad for Russia, as he's trying to turn up the pressure on Russian President Vladimir Putin.
He'll talk so beautifully and then he'll bomb people at night. We don't like that.
Frustration from President Donald Trump. He says he wants the war between Russia and Ukraine to end, but Russian President Vladimir Putin isn't cooperating.
I am very disappointed with President Putin.
The president says he made a deal with European allies to send American Patriot missiles to Ukraine.
But the European Union is paying for it. We're not paying anything for it, but we will send it. It'll be business for us.
And on Capitol Hill, a bipartisan group of senators say they hope to pass a sanctions bill punishing Russia. That bill would put a 500% tariff on imports from countries that buy Russian oil, gas, and uranium.
This is truly a sledgehammer available to President Trump to end this war.
A multifaceted approach here is the only way to bring Putin to the table.
Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal sponsored the bill. They say China, India, and Brazil buy a majority of Russian energy, and that helps fund Russia's war. Congressional leaders say they hope to pass the bill before Congress leaves for its August recess.
I think you do see broad bipartisan support for this sanctions bill against Russia.
And President Trump is also set to meet with the head of NATO, Secretary General Mark Rutte, at the White House today. The president says there will be a big announcement about Ukraine later today.
Well, Vinay, the Department of Defense paused military deliveries to Ukraine earlier this month. What can you tell us about the status of those?
Yeah, it happened earlier this month. The Pentagon announced it would hold back some deliveries of defensive weapons to Ukraine. Now, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says those have now resumed, and the U.S. is still sending weapons to Ukraine.
All right, Vinay Simlad live in Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us.
From the CBS 42 State Capitol Bureau, the State Board of Education is expressing concern over the high numbers of teachers retiring this year, and some argue it's a call to action. State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey says retirements have been